This podcast and its content was created and recorded on Kaurna land. We would like to acknowledge the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians of the land we reside on, and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today.
Whoa. Do you need another one?
Yep.
Well, what a big week it has been in football this week, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Lauren.
Hello.
Welcome, Dan.
Hello.
And welcome, Benjamin.
Thanks, Sam.
We're raising the bat tonight.
Yes.
Slight nod to the grandstand. Episode 50. What do we got?
Wow. We got there.
We did.
Wowie.
Who have we got there, Ben?
It's a short list, but quite an interesting list. So the Weed wore 50
The Weed?
for
No way.
5 games in 1991.
Has he read your LinkedIn message yet, Dan?
No, he hasn't, evidently.
But probably the most important person to ever pull on the 50 was one Chris Groom,
Yes. Trade bait.
who, yes, he got traded to a fairly important player.
Mm.
And we might have done slightly better out of that trade.
Do you reckon?
It's debatable, but I think you'd be strong if you're on the affirmative.
Who was that one player, for those who don't know, Ben?
McLeod.
One Andrew.
This is seamless, as usual.
Yes.
Have we told the story about how we saw Andrew McLeod out prior to our Here We Crow meeting? And
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
no,
reckon,
we were all too scared to talk to him.
I reckon we can just slightly interrupt both Ben and Sam's intro by just quickly saying that we did see Andrew McLeod, who we all decided was our, pretty much, I think we all did.
All-time favourite
Yeah,
Crow.
All-time
think
favourite
so.
Crow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was standing next to him at a bar. I won't say where, but standing next to him, and
It was shapeshifter.
It was shapeshifter. They still haven't answered my emails.
No. Oh, is that why you didn't want to mention
No.
them? I spoke to their rep today, actually. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we might have an in
Did you
there.
ask why they're not hiring Dan for gigs?
No, I
Just
didn't.
give him some feedback, thanks. I don't even want to play anymore. I've retired. Anyway, back to the story. So I went back to the meeting, which was Ben was too important to be there, but Sam and Lauren were there, and said, "Is that Andrew McLeod?" I was standing next to at the bar, and then they turned around and said, "Lo and behold, it was." So we thought, should we go up and say something to him? And we all agreed unanimously, no.
But
We won't.
Dan and I did loiter in the car park
Yeah.
for several minutes just in case he followed us out.
Yeah,
Didn't work.
No.
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 Well,
Anyway,
that's much less creepy.
if you're out
That's
there,
good.
if you're out there, Bungie, we'll have you any time.
And then Dan, after telling that
Yeah, I thought
story.
it was solid across the board.
Thanks. Back to you, Ben.
Well, so anyway, number 50, total of only 17 games played in that jumper, 8 goals kicked, and again, 0 Brownlow votes. We're getting robbed on Brownlow votes.
Was Chris Groom the last player to wear it?
According to this list, and 48 is as high as we go at the moment, so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I reckon you might be right. That's crazy though. Like that's way back in '93 or something. Yeah.
93 to 94.
Right.
Damn.
So, tonight, we got the
Yes.
washout from the showdown win, which everyone's pretty excited about.
I'm still giddy.
Yeah, I know. A little bit from the SANFL. The MRO strikes again. Dog act.
Dogs.
Bargain bin. But first.
Samuel, just as I was pulling up to your driveway, I was listening to this playlist I've made of songs from between 2000 and 2010, and the song that I ripped off for that intro actually came on.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, wow, this is a bit too familiar.
Thanks, Ben.
That'd be really disconcerting if I heard that
Yeah.
out of this context. I
Yeah,
reckon.
it was weird.
Yeah, nice.
There was no Shane McAdam on it.
Tonight, we have another Uraidla beer. We've done a fair few Uraidla beers over the
You
last
love 'em.
year. Yeah. I've went off of them a bit, and I think they're slowly getting themselves back in order now. It's an excellent place to go if you haven't been. We've got their new double dry hopped IPA called Spellbinder tonight. In their new 375ml cans, which is nice to see. It is 6.3%, so it's a fairly hefty beer, 1.9 standard drinks. And Lauren's poured hers already, and it looks very juicy. So I'm assuming that
It's thick.
yes, it should be quite thick.
It's a Darcy Fogarty.
Yes. No lactose though. Before you ask.
Oh, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. I don't think these guys put lactose in any of their beers, so this will be lactose free.
Have we had a lactose beer for a while?
Not for a while. Not since Lauren was bringing the milkshake beers back at the end of last year.
Some may say we're lacking in lactose.
We could be.
We're definitely not lactating.
All right, who of you is going first?
Who's gone first, Dan?
Oh, look, I'll go straight off the bat. On the day of the showdown, I just happened to come across this brand new song for an old band, a band called Be Your Own Pet, who split 13 years ago. And surprisingly, they are indie garage punk. They're back, and this song, I was blown away. I was like, this is exactly what I need on Showdown Day, and especially after we won later on. I was like, I'm going to listen to that about 20 more times. Anyway, it's the first since their 2008 sophomore album, Get Awkward. They're back. Be Your Own Pet. This is called Hand Grenade. Oh yeah, get that into you, Sam. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've heard that name. Probably 13 years, I guess.
Yeah, would have been. Ben,
I'll give you a solid, not too bad.
thank you,
too
Ben. I'll
bad.
take that. I will take that. Lauren,
Get Awkward is one of my favorite ever albums. It's so fun. So yeah, when I saw this pop up on Spotify, I was like, what the fuck? It's been a long time.
Lauren, you've only had one sip.
I haven't even had a sip actually.
I just I had a little dig around of some media on them, and they got back together last year off the back of Jack White requesting them to support him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they're back because they're a really good band, and yeah, it's always good. It's always good when a band makes a comeback and it's a decent one.
Indeed.
You smell that beer? As soon as we opened the cans, you could smell it through the room. That's very, very nice smelling beer.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, we'll talk about it later. Sorry,
Sure.
Lauren. Off you go.
Oh, okay. Well, tonight I do have a throwback, but it's not a throwback.
Okay.
Not that kind of throwback.
All right.
I was just kind of like, thinking about the showdown and how well we played and how the atmosphere, even though I wasn't there, seemed electric, how Rankin was electric. And it got me thinking about songs with the word electric in the title.
Oh, MGMT. Excellent.
No. I have in fact chosen a song by a band called Clutch. This song is from their album From Beale Street to Oblivion. It is called Electric Worry, and I think that's kind of what we did on the weekend. We worried the power, do you get it?
That is a very loose link.
I get satisfaction everywhere I go. Where I lay my head, that's what I call home. Where the barren pines, all the mission stale. Take tomorrow's counter and give 'em back the glare. Bang, 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 bang. Vamonos, vamonos. Bang, bang, bang.
Dad
Hell
rock.
yeah.
Well, my dad's rock. That's what
Really?
he'd like that.
Yeah, no, my stepdad does like Clutch. I got him onto it. But Clutch are the musicians band. Most musicians are big Clutch fans.
Yeah.
They're so good live. Amazing
okay.
band. Dan?
I actually completely didn't remember Clutch. I thought it was a metal band, but anyway, it wasn't, and it wasn't what I expected. Not really my jam, but it was all right.
Yeah, okay. Sam?
No, it was good.
Do you
It was
enjoy
fun.
that dad
Yeah,
rock?
I think my dad would like it more than I would.
Not
but,
indie
Yeah.
enough.
Ben's a
Yeah.
dad. What did you think?
Yeah, very bluesy. It was okay.
Oh, I thought I would have got more of a reaction out of Ben for that one.
Sorry.
It's so good. We might just have to get one of you guys to play some Eels or something, and just so we can get Ben up and
We've
about
already
on a
played
review.
Eels on the thing.
Yeah, he did it though, so he didn't get to
Doesn't
review.
count.
Nah, doesn't count. All right.
One day I'll get him.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
Good things. Michael Frederick's goal celebration.
How good.
Yeah.
I think
More of that, please. More acrobatics.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing for me is I was just like, I don't know why I even looked at it on Twitter, but when I looked, I just was not expecting that. It was the unexpected, which was the best thing. About
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, and obviously good seeing Freo up and about and readiness for next week too, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Fairly confident now that the bow and arrow is a piss take.
Oh, yeah? You confident now?
Now that I've seen it again,
Yeah.
I'm happy
Wait,
to
when
say
did it happen again?
it happened in the showdown.
I didn't see it.
Who did it?
Rankin did it.
Rankin
very
did it.
quick.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Very brief.
Yeah.
It was a flick.
Yeah.
So they're baiting the power players now. I
It does
like that.
seem that way. Yeah. I'm happy now that someone else has done it, that it is a piss take.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I did love how Port supporters were up and about saying when Dersman kicked his goal and did it, that's the real version. How good. It's like it's actually a good thing for some reason.
It's cringe.
It is.
Are we being arrogant and entitled? Is that what this
I think
is about?
so.
Absolutely.
Like we're sort
Yeah.
of rubbing that in a bit now. Because I also like Chase Jones like aiming at the crowd with his...
With the ear.
Yeah.
Well, that was just straight up copying Fantasia
Yeah.
after he kicked the goal.
That's right.
But it was just a lot better coming from us,
Oh,
wasn't it?
I do. If this is genuine and this is the Crows players taking things that other teams are doing, especially Port, and taking the piss, I love it.
Yeah.
Keep going. This is
Same.
great. As long as they're not doing it in a getting too far ahead of themselves. If it's just like a fun thing that they want to do, I'm all about it.
We might get a bit more into this when we talk about the showdown, but I actually thought this was one of the first times that the Crows have shown a fair bit of heart. And there's lots of these players playing for us now who were Crows supporters. So beating Port would have meant a lot to them, and rubbing it into Port would have meant a lot to them. So I actually
Absolutely.
like that kind of smart ass.
I think just getting back to these goal celebrations and whatnot, we've got to think about the human toll. It is spreading. So my son had a sports day on Friday last week. He and another teammate of his for his house won the dodgeball, and Henry's response was to start kissing both biceps.
We learned from the best.
The other kid was coming up to his opponent, just doing a massive roar in his face.
Oh, God.
So I think we got to think about the children in these things.
I think we need to worry about who the parents are, because there's something going on there. I reckon.
I've always been a very Larry celebrator when I kick a goal. So.
Ripping off the shirt,
Yeah.
little knee slides.
Oh, you know that.
After playing foosball,
You know
and
that dodgy flip that Freo guy did. Jeez,
Yeah.
you should have seen me in my day.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Not many good, Sam.
no, just the two.
So no positive trip to Strath or anything for you this week,
Oh,
Sam?
well, look, everybody, yes, we did watch the showdown from Strathalbyn this week.
Look, it was a pretty positive experience until I got absolutely spanked on the foosball table.
Yeah. Yeah,
Henry did have your measure.
I like it how, Henry, who's obviously got the foosball table in his house and plays it maybe daily, is celebrating wins against someone who hasn't played it in 15 years.
And also, we might chuck this up as a poll on Twitter, but do we spin or not spin on foosball? Because
Absolutely no spin.
There's
Henry was all
certainly
about the spin.
No spinnies. It's got to be
There is a time and a place for
proper
spins.
shots.
I'm saying sometimes you got to spin it.
The spinnies with the keeper.
But what I will say is, spin or no spin, I was just way too fucking slow to get
Yeah, exactly. No, that was good. Thanks for the vegetables too. Ben's got quite
no worries.
the farm out the back. Really, lots
Yeah.
of things growing.
I
lots of
must admit, I
goats.
didn't actually make it to Ben's. I'm sorry, Ben, but I spent some quality time with my mum and
Yeah.
stepdad who berated me for giving Brodie Smith shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're wrong.
He's
No,
he also didn't like it when I called Isaac Rankin's second to last goal the game sealer. He told me off quite forcefully for that because I was jinxing it.
that's fair. Actually, I don't mind that one.
Yeah, that one's
I
right.
don't. Even though I think I called it after that.
I think in the last quarter I might have said to Sam, why weren't we favourites? in this game?"
the classic Lauren line.
Shut up, Ben.
Also heard you had you spent some quality time with some bakery crumbs in your car too, Lauren. After we saw you,
Dan and I, we had a little photo shoot on Saturday morning, and prior to, I went to Sam's favourite bakery, the O'Connell Street Bakery.
No. Around the corner is where you should have gone.
I actually did drive past Perryman's, and there was no car park. So
that is a problem there.
I went around the
sometimes.
block, but I saw Sam and Lizzie in the car on the way.
South Road,
South
Castle
Road.
Plaza.
Small
And
town.
just
Adelaide.
afterwards, my sausage roll bag flew around the car and sprinkled lots of crumbs on me.
Yeah.
Don't know why I'm telling a story on the podcast.
It's
but
a problem.
Lauren and I were having a photo shoot for our Tegan and Sarah cover band.
yeah.
No.
Coming right up. We'll play a couple on
when
the
we
pod.
get a sneak peak of Dan's new band.
Yes.
Anyway, I haven't said any bads
yeah,
yet.
what's your bads? Give us your bads.
Oh, look, let's talk about this here. The peddler suspension. Look,
One week you ban the outcome, next week you ban the act, as long as the crows get banned. Dog act.
Oh, stretching.
No,
I
that's
didn't
perfect.
mind it. Yeah, that was good. Look, I understand they want to protect the head. That's all well and good, but I think there's definitely an element of players milking this sort of swing tackle, like sort of promoting the spin and certainly hitting the deck. Houston had his arms free and made no attempt to brace his fall at all.
And he made a rapid recovery from his concussion.
It was
there,
amazing, wasn't it?
So woozy for a good half a second, and then he
Yeah.
got the free, and he was pretty good.
So look, I think we've probably seen at least 10 to 15 of these sort of tackles through the year so far that have gone unpunished.
There
So
was
it'll
another
be-
worse one in the game.
Yeah.
Chase Jones got slung onto the ground,
Yeah.
which to me looked worse on television than the peddler tackle. I thought the peddler tackle looked fair, and to me it was just momentum. There wasn't really like a sling involved. It was just he was trying to get Houston to ground, which he did.
I think the extra reason this is in the bads is that I just don't want to see Pedler second guess whether he wants to dive at a player like he does, because that's the way that he plays, and I think that's the way he's going to play best for us moving forward as
I'm
well.
going to say the messaging from the Crows coaching group was probably you did the exact thing we want you to do and continue to do so.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you know.
Let's hope.
It's just a schmozzle, though. You've got that John Newcomb
Yeah.
one where he joined in
Oh,
on a
that was
tackle
terrible.
to throw him to the ground, then does the old
chicken
chicken
wing.
wing afterwards. And, that's just a fine. That's fine.
That also got
Yeah.
pinged holding the ball. Like the guy had both of his arms pinned back and the ball was like clutched in. Like, how is he meant to get rid of the ball? There's no common sense in that decision.
Speaking of segue, nice one with the holding the ball, with the one that happened in our back line that was atrocious.
What is protected zone when you can't jump? What's protected zone when you can just encroach and it's a free to SPP? Dog act.
Oh, that was a tough one though.
Yeah, that
I think
was-
it's
You got to
the
start
hour-
practicing before.
I think the
Nah,
hours
no
of
practice.
preparation on those lyrics is really showing up, Dan. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Look, it's
Thanks for
obvious.
acknowledging, Ben.
It's obvious
No
I
worries.
haven't written a dog act yet.
I will admit I didn't know that was one of the dog acts. So
Yeah, you've
I
taken
did
over the whole segment.
stumble into those.
That's all right. We just put the segment in wherever it fits.
We should probably
yeah.
just confer before.
We
Nah,
should.
no, that was perfect.
No prep. We don't need to prep.
That was podcast, champagne podcast.
But that is looked like a tactic from Port, sort of like
They were doing it a
huddling
bit,
the
weren't
marks.
they?
Yeah,
They were getting away with it,
The
though.
thing for me was if SPP is directly behind Sholly there, why is he just lingering? He should be removing himself from the zone.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be
Well, that used to
standing
be the
there and able to even tackle. He should be removing himself.
Yeah.
He should have been at least 3 steps away from Sholly
Yeah.
there. And then going for the tackle. Because play on wasn't even called yet.
No.
Nah.
And Lockie does take a step to play on, like he does, but he doesn't cross the line.
But there's no way that Palpeva should be that close to him.
No,
that he can
not at
tackle
all.
him from that point.
And
It's absolutely
just
ridiculous.
about impossible to take a kick without taking a step to kick the ball.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he wasn't even allowed one step to,
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Rumour has it the umpire's a sports supporter.
Really?
Garbage
I read that on the
decision.
Ooh.
Someone went to school with him and he's important enough.
Yeah, right.
Shouldn't even be allowed to umpire the games, apparently.
But the good news is
Spreading rumours.
didn't help Port.
What?
I said the good news is it didn't help Port.
No,
Well, I think
they
it
ended up
helped them
just
at the
being
time,
shit.
but it just didn't help them enough.
I did like some bit of salty commentary from Dwayne
Wayne.
saying incorrectly, copying is the greatest form of flattery, which I found funny to start with, when referring to the Crows players taking the piss of Dersma to his precious Port players. So that was quite funny, I thought. Fox, I think the worst thing, look, I've had this on my bads for, actually last year I had it in my bads because of the cricket, or the start of this year because of the cricket. Fox calling games from interstate. I hate it. I think it is really poor form. I heard Hutchie talking about this on his podcast a couple of weeks ago, saying that he was speaking to Fox, and apparently it's not a cost-cutting exercise; it's more of a quality of life thing for the commentators, saying that to get the better commentators, to get them calling more games, they don't want to
Quality
be
of
flying.
life. 45-minute flight from Melbourne.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
I'm not.
this is what they this is what they said.
So when you say better quality of commentator, you mean David King?
Yeah, that's it. Well, if Hutto was doing more, I'd be happy with that. Hutto is an excellent commentator, and I don't know how you can't feel the atmosphere of the stadium when you're not there, and I think you can really tell it. Well, like it was so obvious during that play when we were watching it, weren't they? When that point was going to get called, they had no idea because it wasn't on the screen.
No.
It's just it's poor.
And then you had people like King came out defending it, saying, "Oh, he'll see a lot more than he would if he was at the game." And it's like, well, then why aren't you doing Melbourne games from the studio instead of going to the ground? So
Yeah.
Because he's sent to Crows games because no one cares about him.
Yeah, it's very average. Also, a few people like, budget cost cutting. Flights aren't that expensive. Also, I think you've got enough money. Foxtel. Do you think Murdoch can't pay for flights to Adelaide? I feel he can.
Or could you just employ someone who lives in Adelaide to commentate?
There is also that. Who have we got?
Nobody.
Ben?
Treaders.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah. If people are looking for a minimalist sort of a commentary, I'm happy to do that. I'll talk about a kick every now and then.
I'm sure they'd all think you were better than Kelly Underwood, Ben.
Yeah. And Ben would be sitting there with his laptop going into sleep mode constantly, not being able to respond.
Have you got the stats there, Ben?
Just give me a sec.
Who's going to sleep mode, the laptop or Ben?
It really is sleeping a lot more today.
It's very rapid, isn't it?
Well, I'm sure it doesn't do this normally.
Ben's had a Windows update and it's ruined him. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. So, which one of us called it?
None.
None of us.
I know, yeah. I tipped against.
Yeah.
And, I got 3 this week in the tips.
Whoa, that's brutal.
That is bad.
I got 4.
Yeah. Well, look, we've started a bit. We don't sound that excited, do we?
No, we
But
are excited.
We are
I think
very
we are
excited.
like, we've been so excited. We're like coming down.
Every
from
time
the
you say
excitement.
some's not excited, you look at me because, like,
Well,
I
you're
must
just
be
on your
monitoring.
phone.
Am I turning into Ben?
Yes.
You're not.
I'm trying to line up
You're not.
nuffies for next week.
You're not looking like the radiant Ben.
The radiant. The Ben that asked me for a coffee before we came down to record because he's screwed.
Look,
Might get another one shortly if that's all right. So.
look, I will say that showdowns give me attention headache. It's the only time I ever have them.
Yeah.
But they are anxiety inducing. I actually last time, not the last showdown. I went to the pub after and I had to just have soda water and go home because my head hurt that much.
Yeah.
And I experienced the same this weekend.
Yeah. Well,
What a game.
Look, it was fun to see the real passion come out in the power players when they got to wear the Magpies Guernsey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a real show of like they were wearing their armour, like they said. It was
Yeah.
it was good to see.
They really
came
love
out.
playing for that Guernsey.
They
don't
do,
they?
yeah, because they've all got such a connection to it.
As a
'Cause,
great-
they've all played
as-
for the Magpies in the past.
As a Port Power great said this week, some of the teams talk the talk, Port, and some of them walk the walk, the Crows. So
It is embarrassing. Look, just a slight aside. I don't really like talking about Port anyway because we beat them and sucked in. But it is pathetic, really, that they spend the whole week talking about that stupid Guernsey that none of the players that's a lie. Not none, but very few of those players would actually give a shit about.
you know what? You just made me think of something. I would argue, and I talked about it earlier, that the Crows players, so you talk Isaac Rankin, Riley Thilthorpe, 2 of the best players on the night, were actually playing for the Guernsey because they're actual Crows supporters.
playing against
Whereas
the Magpies
like these
Guernsey.
guys, probably not many of them actually went for the Magpies.
Probably none of them did. Yeah. It's anyway. So anyway, we
think
won.
Jason Horne-Francis would have been keen to win.
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah.
well, we'll get into that.
Hey, look, what?
I just loved that we just bullied him all night.
Yeah, we did.
Like,
We were in his face a lot, weren't we?
well, he gave Sloan, cracked Sloan over the head at one point, and that's when we had that little bit of biff going on in the second quarter. And I just loved that Sloaney, of all people, was getting in his face. Like,
Yeah.
Why would you try it on Sloaney?
Yep.
He was a legend.
All right, let's quickly,
Anyway, let's talk about it.
Let's quickly talk about a couple of negatives first, because then we'll talk about the fun things, which is good. Brodie Smith
I actually thought Brodie had his best game so far.
Well,
this year,
Yes.
yeah, which isn't hard.
I mean, it's not hard, but I actually thought vintage Brodie came out a few
In
times
the last
there.
quarter, I
Yeah.
think I think we got a message from Bisk on Twitter, which is why I messaged back saying, "Have you read my notes?" Was that his last quarter rescued his performance on Saturday night. He was poor, very poor before that, but did some nice things in that last quarter. And if he just had the legs in him in that when he was running down the wing there in that last quarter, that would have been fun to watch. But just tired, unfortunately.
I want to hear your other negative because I want to know if it's what mine is.
I loved seeing Berry off the ground
Oh, okay.
because I think Chase Jones. I know Chase came in when everyone else was cooked and showed a lot of passion and hardness at the ball.
Yeah.
which is probably easier at that time than it was if you were there at the start. But Berry maybe played as slightly better than he did the week before, but still is not quite.
Well, he had
there,
like
is he?
5 disposals. They're saying that he is carrying some sort of calf injury, but
Well, he injured his calf. That's why he got taken off. But there is rumours floating around that he's carried that as well.
Yeah, I've got a feeling because he hasn't really been himself, has he?
Well, I mentioned last week that when I watched him closely, and there was numerous times where he would run at the ball and not turn. And Ben, you're our resident physio. I would imagine that a calf in that situation would be rather handy to turn.
You use your calf for a lot of things, yeah.
So it's maybe not surprising, and maybe it's true that he has been carrying this injury for a while. So so not ideal. What was your negative?
My negative is actually Jordan Butts.
Yeah.
Probably a similar scenario. Apparently, he's been carrying a bit of a shoulder thing, but I just feel like his effort was really lackluster for the majority of the game.
I agree, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have anyone that can take his spot, though, do we? There's no one that can play his role.
Unless they
Not
try like
right
a
now.
Borlaise or something. But
Yeah.
I think it's a one-off. I don't like. I think I'm not sure why he got omitted. I thought it was because of the shoulder thing because Nick's kind of came out and said that, but I don't know. I just thought the energy wasn't really there because he is a good player. Like I'm not.
And don't forget that
this
he is still a fairly young player playing against that big
Absolutely.
dumb idiot Dixon. So
Yeah, well, yeah, he was out-muscled by Dixon by
Yeah.
a big way, and Dixon's fucking enormous. So that was really my only negative.
yeah,
well, I was saying up till half time, like, the defense was quite leaky still, and it has, those goals off the rebound were coming so easily.
they were easy. Yeah.
And I honestly thought that the only way we're going to go with them, like, we're just going to have to keep up. We're not going to be able to go with them if it keeps going like this. And somehow we did.
Our forward line is amazing.
Yeah.
Really. So it's probably no surprise. Maybe that's the style we're just going to have to play. I don't mind it. It's more exciting to watch.
Yeah.
I want us to play like Collingwood.
Well, there were many, many highlights of the game.
There was many highlights. Sorry, I know I'm hosting, so I started with the negatives, but
No,
let's
it's
go into
fine.
the numerous positives.
Look, obviously Rankin and Filthy had the games of their careers so far at the Crows, absolutely immense. But the person who stood out to me,
Dawson,
two
showdown
players.
medalist, obviously.
Well, I thought Dawson was great, and I understand why he got
He
the
was
medal. But Luke Pedlar, probably his best game for the Crows, and also Mitch Hinge, Hingy, friend of the
Hingy.
pod.
I think I mentioned last week that Pedlar lacks any poise or class. I can't remember which word I used.
Are you taking that back?
I knew that he had it. It's just that he wasn't showing it. So it was just great to see him turn that around completely.
I'm just going to make a comment for those who can't see, because as I say every week, we're not a visual podcast. But Lauren's notes pad, like it's like handwritten on a computer. What
Yeah,
is that?
I had my iPad.
You actually handwritten notes.
Yeah, so I had my iPad and my Apple Pencil out at my parents' place, and I was
Yeah, right.
taking notes during the game. And
love that.
they thought it was hilarious.
Well, they were right.
Because they couldn't understand what I was writing. When Dawson kicked that 75-metre bloody goal and it went through, I just wrote "what" in capital letters, and Dawson after it.
Well, there
They
you
didn't
go.
get it.
You were taking notes. We had children playing charades in front of the
Yeah,
television.
so
that was
I
nice.
chose wisely. Some of my notes: Pedler, like in the midfield, spun out of traffic, handballed to Dawson, carried it through to Murphy, to Rankin, ran it through for a goal.
Yep.
Elite. That is
Murphy.
the kind of ball movement we want to see.
Yep.
That was amazing. Hinge, I've already mentioned. I thought he was composed and tough. Rochelle's use of space in the contest is so clever.
Yeah.
He just manages to find a way. Filthy, the over-the-head goal. He's done it again. I think that's his specialty. Kind of reminds me of Kyrgios, the through the legs forehand kind of deal. But his read on the ball is just so good.
He's shown in that game and numerous other games really that he is a couple of class levels better than Himmelberg.
Oh, yeah,
It's
for
not-
sure.
it's just-
It was his time. And I take back everything I said last week about him not needing to be in the team. Like,
They just need to leave him there, don't they?
Look, Scott Burns actually, his presser this week was, I thought, hilarious. Because if Matthew Nix is the good cop, Scott Burns is the bad cop. And
I think another word might be boring, but yeah.
no, he's he's straight to the point, and he doesn't, he doesn't fuck spiders.
Just like Dan.
But one of the guys asked him, he's like, "Oh, surely Filthy doesn't play another Sample game again?" And Burns rightly said, "Look, he wouldn't have gotten to where he is without Sample. So he's going to have a journey, and it's going to be up and down." And he's right; he might not be in the team forever, but what a performance! He's definitely earned his spot.
Yeah.
What did you think of Dawson in the press conference, letting the reporters know that he actually asked Matthew Nix to play in the midfield?
Yeah, I don't love the fact that he had to ask for it. I'm glad it happened though.
I think
Good captain's
I think
cool.
people may have misinterpreted what he was saying. I think it was a conversation that was being had, but he said, "I think this week you need to put me in
I
there."
want to take it on this week. Yeah. I think so too.
There was some awkward walking it back saying, I'm not telling the coach what to do. Sort of.
Yeah. I actually enjoyed that press conference a lot. I actually think they should do that more often, have a player involved in the press conference, because it was I thought it was quite insightful. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that even though the questions were predominantly being asked of Nixie, he was acknowledging Dawson through the whole thing and kind of trying to get his say on it. I don't know. It just makes me think that relationship's good, and that brings me joy.
I just want to interrupt the Lauren show
Oh, sorry. I knew you were going to ban me for that, Dan.
to talk about a couple of much
Oh, have
maligned,
you got things to say?
just a couple of much maligned players that we talk about every other week. But Lockie Murphy and Riley O'Brien, I think they probably had better games than they've had in a long time.
Who?
Lockie Murphy's probably one of his better games. Even our mate Bozza, friend of the pod, called
him by his full name.
Lachlan Murphy. He put some positive comments about him on Twitter.
I just want to point
And
out
Rob,
too.
as much as Rob made me cringe when anytime him and Laird, the combo, were together.
Oh, and they still handballed it to each other.
They
again.
handballed to each other. Laird, never handball to Rob ever again, please. But Rob did some very nice things in the second half that kind of saved his skin, I think.
Yeah, he did. I just want to point out that today is the 4th of the 4th.
Mm,
It's Lockie Murphy Day.
it is.
It
Yeah.
is.
Not when
Yeah,
you're
it
listening
is
to this, but
our-
while we're recording.
Or it's Nathan Bock
Fourth
Day.
episode of the season as well.
Oh, look at that. It is the
It's
Lockie Murphy
episode 4,
episode.
technically our 5th though.
No,
'cause
because
we
we,
did a
had
0.
episode 0.
Yeah,
So,
it's
the title of this episode is Lachlan Murphy.
They're splitting hairs.
yes.
what
No,
else you got?
look, I will say I am the biggest maybe
Person in the room.
haters. Yeah, I am the biggest person in the room. Yeah, Riley O'Brien played his best game this year by a long way. Maybe one of his better games for a couple of years, I think. Lachlan Murphy, I reckon he probably played his best game ever.
It was a really good game.
He just, I think the role that he played just suited him so perfectly. We're most critical of Murphy when he plays that pure forward role, and our inside 50s are generally terrible to him, kicking it on his head when he's 4'5". This is never going to work. We played him in a role that just suited his game style so perfectly, and it paid off.
Not to mention he smothered the ball with his face at one point. That's
Yep.
tough.
Yeah.
I thought last year Murphy had some good moments last year. Wasn't consistent, but he sort of had the game
That's
that
generous.
was. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a player basher like some on this pod, but
Boring.
I think when he plays the right role, he grew up being a midfielder, and he's got some skills around the midfield, and I think he adds something to the team if he can play consistently.
Very
Max
good.
Michelani.
Oh, my God.
Woof.
Yeah. That was quite a hit.
Oh, that was massive.
I know it was only the string bean from the opposition, but that was quite a hit.
That was huge.
Yeah.
took it like a 200 gamer.
Yeah. And came back and played a very handy game afterwards. So
Really
he's been
impressive.
great. The amount of games that he's played and the position that he's in, it's so heartening to see. I was talking to a Crows supporting friend today, and we were talking about the Mackesy situation. And you could probably draw a fair few parallels between those two players and their junior careers and where they're at now. Mackesy didn't show even like a quarter of what Max has been able to produce. So it's great to see.
He's pure blood footy, that
Yeah.
kid. And how good was that video this week that the Crows released?
Oh, except for the song. God, that was shit.
I watched it with no
You
sound.
would-
Oh, good.
Straight away pick out the shit thing about it. And
was
I'm
so
trying
soppy.
I'm like, it is sweet
It
and
was so
like
soppy.
lovely.
It was terrible.
Yeah, well, Jesus, the kid's living his dreams.
Yeah,
man.
no, I love the content. The content of it was great. It was just the song.
It's
was
so
awful.
good. I can't like. It's got the photo with him with Tom Duday. Like that shows how young he is.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
right?
right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back to the
Sorry.
game. Can I just also point out how good Nick Murray's game was?
Yes.
Massive.
Mm-hmm.
Dawson, when he was interviewed on Captain's Day, he said who the breakout player would be this year, and his answer was Nick Murray.
Yeah.
I think, he
I
could
think
be
we're
onto
seeing it.
something.
Yeah, I think a few of us have put him in as the quiet achiever this year.
Yeah.
So far this year, and he's been excellent. I just he doesn't. He's been more solid than he has been in previous years. He gets the ball, and we're not scared that he's got the ball.
Yeah.
Which is good to see.
Also, we talk about him all the time, but Jake Saligo
Yeah.
probably didn't have his most prominent game that he's had with the Crows, but the way he works out of the traffic is so impressive. Like, it's just such a good footy mind. He's got the footy IQ. We've talked about it a lot. And his impact is great.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to bring up that I was going to put in my good segment. Did anyone see Dawson with the trophy walking back to the team, doing the little shuffle?
jump.
Yeah, and then the jump with the trophy. I thought that was great.
There's a great photo going around with Tom Duday in midair, like
Yeah.
jump. Yeah, which
I think
looks
that's a
really cool.
basketball thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The little shuffle in with the trophy. Yeah. And that, I don't know. It just seems like we maybe have a captain now that's on the same page with some of the younger guys. I think we mentioned this last week as well about the Texan Sloan factor maybe weighing on this team a little bit. But no, I think we're definitely moving in the right
I
direction.
know everyone bangs on about Tom Duday potentially leaving because he isn't signed yet. I have a feeling he is one that actually will stay.
Maybe.
I just have this feeling.
Yeah,
I think it'd be
you
good
want
if he
it to
did.
happen. Look, there was a moment after the game where they were carrying the shield around the oval, and the camera was on Rory Sloane and Tex Walker, and just behind them was Dawson and Duday having a chat, and they ended up all in the same frame, just walking along together. And I just looked at them and I was just like, "Isn't that lovely?" Like, two of the older leaders, senior leaders, and then the two fresh kind of new leaders all together in the one, and it just gave me a bit of hope.
This is a photographer talking who would have just loved to capture that moment.
Look, there were many moments of Saturday night that I would have loved to have captured as a photographer, and
Yes.
a lot of them were captured, and some amazing photos coming out of the game on the
The
weekend.
Rankin, this is my house.
Yeah, that
type
was good
thing
too.
was good. Yeah.
Just
Yes.
before we move on, who do we see coming in this week, if anyone?
Well,
There'll be force change.
who's coming out for
Well,
Peddler?
yeah,
or
so
who's
Peddler
coming in
and
for
Berry.
Peddler, should I say?
Pedler and Berry, you'd say.
Yeah.
So I'd say,
Chase stays.
yeah, I'd say Chase stays in, and then maybe Harry Schonberg
Schonberg. He's
or Matt Crouch.
massive display in the sample for
Yeah.
Schonberg. So
I don't know if I really want to see him come straight back in though.
Matt
Yeah,
Crouch
that's true.
also played well, but is still coming off injury, so I don't know
Yeah.
if he comes back in.
I saw bits and pieces of the game. Nuz watched the whole game and said Crouch's 30 were incredibly uninfluential, if that's a word.
Well,
what-
Shoei kicked 3 goals, I think, from memory.
Yeah. He
If
had,
it's
he
not
had a
Sean-
huge game.
if it's not Schonberg, is it Taylor?
Nah, see,
No.
Taylor had a really poor game apparently. He had 12 disposals and basically didn't look like he was there.
Yeah,
I reckon
right.
it's Harry back in. if I'm
It's,
honest.
it's probably likely.
Or as the sub.
Maybe. Yeah.
Ben hasn't had a word in this whole segment.
Nah,
so.
he's
Give
got-
us some game
has
stats,
Ben
Ben.
got stats.
Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, well, we won a lot of stats. So
Woohoo!
disposals, including kicks and handballs, we had more. We were inside 50 more. Disposal efficiency was better than theirs. Scoring efficiency was better than theirs. And from round one where we got smacked, we won the inside 50 tackles 17-10. And from that was 10 different individuals who had a tackle in our inside 50, including 3 for Peddler and Rankin. So that is the sort of pressure we're looking for from our
Yep.
forwards. 2 for Scholl. He got 2 in the inside 50 tackles. Gollant got 2, so he didn't do much on the scoreboard, but he did still try. And Berry,
Yes.
before he went off, got a couple. So, yeah, so that was really good. The area that we keep struggling is our clearances. So, but particularly centre bounces. So centre bounces, we lost 17-10. Stoppage around the ground, we were pretty much even at. We lost 31-29. So it seems to be something about how we set up. Maybe we can't deal with the ball being bounced. I don't know, but that initial setup, we're getting dominated, and we still saw a bit of that on the
It's
weekend.
Rob.
Yeah.
Rob's the issue.
The bounce has
But he
been
took the
particularly
first
bad.
clearance. He nearly kicked a goal.
I don't know if I've noticed it more this year because I've been analysing it a bit closer, but the bounces have been so bad this year.
Oh, they just need to get
They
rid
were
of the
bad on
stupid
the
bounce.
They were bad on the weekend as well. There was a few there. I was like, surely they're calling that back, and they didn't.
Yeah, they don't call them back that often.
And then they'll call back random ones that don't go out of the circle as well. It's so strange.
Yeah, I saw some of the highlights package that Vardy Magic did for Rob.
Oh yes,
And that sort of highlighted how the secondary stoppages, where a lot of those he sort of got the ball and did a quick handball, and that
Yep.
was a lot more effective than him trying to tap it. So
He doesn't win a lot of taps, does he? Or it doesn't seem like
Not
it.
to our
No,
advantage
so-
anyway.
Yeah.
But the ones where he could sort of muscle up, get the ball, and then quickly handball to someone, he was a lot more effective. So
Yeah.
maybe that went a long way to our general stoppages, whereas you don't get that opportunity in the centre clearance because all the other players are spread out.
I
But
just don't think we've got that midfield mix right, have we, just yet?
it's certainly a work in progress.
Yeah.
I think I really like seeing Rochelle in the
Yeah, same.
centre. I
And
think
Dawson.
Dawson was fantastic, and I think it was definitely the right move. He kind of said his move in there was to settle steady the ship.
Yep.
And I think he achieved that for sure. Seemed to be a lot calmer and not as frantic in there. Yeah, I don't know. It was just such a good game. I've got heaps of notes. I can't go through them all.
No, I've got
just
so
some
much
of it
more
was
here than I.
they were just so good. There were just so many good moments for me. I know a lot of people said that we won the game when Rioli dropped that mark, but for me, we won the game when Rankin got that ball in the boundary and kept it alive and handled it into Gollant. That was the winner for me. There was
was
no
awesome.
coming back from that.
Yeah.
Amazing, really good effort.
Yeah. It was good to see it. And I think we're going to move into votes in a second. And I think votes were tough. I think it was interesting seeing, obviously, let's bring this up with Dawson winning the showdown medal. I think we'd all probably agree that maybe he wasn't best on. I don't really know how you can pick Dawson over someone that's kicked 5 straight or someone who's kicked 4 straight and had a huge influence on the
Well,
game.
I was tweeting from the Here We Crow account that night, and I was convinced that Riley had that in the bag. But
Barely got
he
a
was
vote.
robbed
Yeah.
robbed
It was-
by
He and Rankin
Dawson.
both only had one person vote for them.
Yeah.
It was so strange, wasn't it?
These industry experts.
Well, Conor Rosie got some of the top votes.
One of them was Campriali, who obviously hates us.
Yeah.
And then what David King calling from
How
Melbourne.
could he put Rosie as the best player? Come on, Scott. Jeez.
Yes, interesting. But anyway, are we going to do votes?
Yep, let's do it.
Go, Lauren.
3 for Rankin.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he was electric, and he's getting the ball from stoppage. That's where he's winning goals, all of it. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
Rankin 3. 2 for Filthy. 5 goal bag. Love it. And so just some. I'll just bring this up now. Sloan. Kind of mediocre first half, but that second half, vintage Sloan came
he
out
was
there.
good. Yeah.
And his inside 50 deliveries to Filth were great.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. 2 to Filth. And I'm going to give 1 to Mitch Hinge. I just thought, as a defender, he just had a massive game. That chase down tackle was huge for us. And his effort is always 100%. And I just thought he had a really good game.
I know he was only chasing Finlayson, but it was funny when Finlayson got that ball. I just knew Hinge was going to catch him. I wasn't worried about it.
Nah, neither was I.
It was weird. It was sort of like because Finlayson had nowhere to kick it, so he had to take it and go.
Yeah.
And you just knew Hinge was going to get him, and it was great to see.
I went very similar to Lauren. I had 3 for Rankin as well. I thought he was the game changer for us. As his best game for the Crows so far. 2 for Phil Thorpe as well. And I went 1 with the showdown medalist, Jordan Dawson, who I thought
Nice.
did some really nice things when we were sort of up against it in the first half. I think he made a big difference. And that captain's call to play midfield as well, I think shows his leadership and that he feels he can make a difference as a leader, which he perhaps wouldn't have been able to do if he wasn't the captain.
Okay, so I went with 3 for Thilthorpe just because he was doing what we've been hoping he'd do forever, which is taking some high marks inside forward 50, jumping high, getting marks at the top of his leap, which has been good. There was a couple of kicks where he kicked it in. You're like, geez, they've kicked it over his head, and he just got those long arms up. So
Big reach.
that was really good. And also that one where he picked up the ball on the run, quick handoff to Pedler, who kicked the goal.
that's
That
awesome.
was
Beautiful.
just
That's
really
in my notes,
silky.
Ben.
So, yep,
Very clever is what I've written,
yeah.
underlined.
classy and silky. So Rankin I gave the 2 for all your reasons. And he ran the furthest of anyone on the ground. So he put in the effort as well as doing the flashy stuff.
Yeah.
And 1 for Sam's favourite in Rob, I thought.
First vote of the
First
year.
ever vote.
So, yeah, as I said, some of that stuff out of the stoppages was good. He had 16 disposals at 87% efficiency. So that's a blue moon moment for Rob. So
Yeah.
I'll give him a vote for
Good
that.
on you, Rob. You've got another 6 months in the side now.
Look, I don't want anyone to faint, but I've got the same 3 as Ben.
Oh my God. You put Rob in
I
your
put
vote?
Rob in my vote.
Holy moly.
But
You've changed, man.
I did have Rankin and Thilthorpe round the other way because
If you
I
had
thought
Murphy in your votes, I'd die.
it was I chose Rankin over Thilthorpe because I thought his goals were at more pivotal moments than Thilthorpe's were.
Particularly that 4th one after the siren.
Well, obviously not that one, but I reckon that one that he scored where he kicked it around, picked it off the ground,
Yeah,
kicked it
that
around
was
his
awesome.
body from just the penetration that he got on that kick was just insane, and that was just such a ceiling sort of moment that was. So yeah, that's why I chose Rankin.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
Lauren.
Tyson Edwards' quiet achiever for me this week is the showdown medal winner, Jordan Dawson.
Quiet, you reckon? He kicked a 75-metre goal.
Nothing more quiet than winning a medal.
I know, right? I knew I was going to get shit for this.
This is Ebony Marinoff area.
This is. I need a 4th vote.
Well, that's exactly what it is. No, well, I thought his impact was quite significant in the start of the game, but it seemed to die off a little bit. Everyone else kind of was having their moment. But the way Dawson was charging through those Port players and just I don't know, he looked like he was like an Iron Man, driving his way through the surf. You know what I mean? He was just strong. And like I mentioned in the post-game press conference, he kind of, he said again, I'm going to play anywhere that the team needs me. And I just feel like he is our concrete pillar. He's our captain, and he's quite quiet as a person. So he is the epitome of a quiet achiever for me this week.
Quick question without notice to our the member of the pod that loves questions without notice, Benjamin. Dawson is playing in the middle, going to hurt his fantasy scores?
He doesn't seem like he gets as many cheap marks, no.
Just for those
Bummer.
out there, doesn't.
So
I
you're
think
saying
he'll
I should trade him?
Oh, yeah, you could get Tom Stewart, make some money.
Are you still ranked highly?
I cracked the 1,000 during the round,
Oh, right.
and now I've gone back out.
Well, you're still 1,600,
Jesus.
and you're equal on points with someone else in our league.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Not me.
We've got a strong lead.
I've
No, what?
not on
Except you.
wins, but on overall ranking, I'm chasing you down on in 3rd.
Oh, that's
Wow.
enough. That's enough, Ben. All right.
2167. What a round!
Dan, what did you have for Tyson Edwards?
Well, I love a player who seizes their opportunity when they get it, and this player did it really well. Came on as the sub. He used to look like Noddy when he first came to the team, but he was tough the other night, and his attitude towards the Port faithful was amazing when he kicked one of the ceiling goals in the last quarter. He is Chase Jones. I want to see more Chase Jones. I think he could go to the next level this year. He could play anywhere.
if he can
I
play like
love
that for
Chasey.
3 quarters, he will be a solid member of our team by the end of the year, and I hope he does.
I really hope he does. He's got lots of haters, and I want nothing more than for him to stick
He's
it up
been
the
the
haters.
quiet achiever of my heart for some time.
And let's not forget that he's played in such a shit team the whole time he's been here. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
need to wait and see what he can do in a team that's
He
half
was a
decent.
high draft pick, and so he's obviously got something, and I think we see glimpses of it from time to time.
Yeah.
He really needs that opportunity, and he needs to seize it. And he seized it the other night. So does he get a full game this week? Maybe. Does he come on as the sub again? I don't know.
I think
but
with the injuries he does.
see.
But
We have been watching him for a long time, Sam, and he's just bulking up every single
Yeah.
year and just like he's getting huge.
he was a
and,
small
like,
kid.
Yeah.
Like that's why I
Oh,
say he
he's
looked like
teeny
Noddy,
weeny.
because he did. He was a tiny little pipsqueak kind of.
yeah, little skinny arms.
You know, he
wooden
looks like
character.
a real footballer now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And
Yeah.
he's angry. I
Yeah,
love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I
Chase.
love that.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Ben.
I've just gone with Michaelini again, just taking massive hits. And his efficiency with the ball, 100% efficiency,
Yeah, amazing.
just gets it done. So.
Yeah.
And I've done the same. And I also applaud your correct pronunciation and Phoenix approved
Oi,
pronunciation
Get a,
Oh,
of
room,
Michelini.
Michaelini.
get a room,
Is
you
it
two.
Michaelini?
Michaelini.
Michaelini.
I did hear that he gets frustrated, but I have also heard him say Rochelle several times instead of Rochelle. So.
Well, we love Phoenix. So yeah, no, I just thought I'd bring that up.
Also, just want to repeat my comment of get a room, you two.
No, I was talking about Phoenix from Crowcast. You don't listen to that, do you, Dan? No.
It's amongst all the
Doesn't listen to
podcasts that I
anything.
don't listen to.
Very good.
Out of bounds, on the full.
Social media.
Thanks for all your comments and things that you've sent us today.
We're going to dive straight into Bozza. He's been very busy. He showed us his calendar earlier today with just selections written on it.
He's got a lot to do on Tuesdays.
He does. His
I don't know
Tuesdays
why
are
he hasn't
packed.
come in.
Stacked like our midfield.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to hear some Bozza selections?
Let's go
from
Bozza straight up. Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Hey guys, round 4 from the sauna. Quick one tonight, pre-run. 3 changes. Berry, Pedler out. Whether Berry's injured or not, I think he needs a break anyway with that output.
Fair.
Jones and Shu in with Cook to be the sub. Smith saved his ass until Worrell's back in a couple of weeks with that second half. And a big test for the doctor this week because he's playing against 2 genuine rucks.
Yes.
Not to has been in Scotty Lycett, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. That's about it. Short and sweet. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Love it.
Love it, Boz.
I was going to say exactly the same thing.
I reckon he's on the money.
Yeah.
I love
was gonna
that.
say.
And I think Cook as sub could be perfect as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Cook seems to just not get much opportunity, but he played well in the Sandful again. And yeah.
I like it. And very good call about Rob as well. Lycett was basically pathetic on the weekend. And Sean Darcy got to play what was essentially a Great Southern League ruckman in over at West Coast, against West Coast, but and had what? Sort of like 50-something hit-outs he had last week.
It was a nice solid 128.
Yeah.
And with your...
He had 90 at half time.
Yeah,
So he actually slowed down.
He did
Let's
slow
just-
down. What I would suggest, Sam, is with your ruck issues, just
Yeah.
stay away from Darcy, please.
Why? Why do you say that? Why do you say that, Ben?
Because I had Gorn and then I traded him to
Oh, you've
Darcy
got
Cameron.
Darcy.
I
I
did
take
it too.
I
I
was-
did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We're jinxing
So
them as we go.
Let's both get Sean Darcy. to
You
see
Well,
guys
Ben.
could please get on to Tim English and slow him down a bit. That'd be
I can't
great.
afford him.
If you two are getting Darcy, I'm going to jump on Toby Nankervis because that's the only other option.
Nah, Grundy. Get Grundy.
Nah.
He's playing West Coast this week. He's going to dominate.
Yeah, I don't know about
Where are
Grant.
you getting all this cap space?
No,
traded
Grundy's fairly
down.
cheap. Yeah. Anyway, more social media. What do we got, Lauren?
All right, so Vivo. Crow's survival of power onslaught was epic. They tried to take the game, but our new stars grabbed it by the balls and won in epic style, giving a lot of supporters hope. But long way to go. We're still building, a couple of seasons away from the most important date of the year that we want. Pretty good call. Hendo. Love the fact that they were challenged in the fourth quarter, played the game out, last 10 minutes was brilliant. I completely agree.
Hendo.
Maddie C. G'day, Maddie. He says the peddler suspension is a joke. True.
Agreed.
One of the great wins in club history. I completely agree. I think that was one of our better wins. Definitely memorable. Just
works really hard. My all-time worst start to a fantasy season. Geez, Maddie, I'm in the same boat. What a shocker.
Well, season 2, Lauren.
Well, no, I'm even worse this year, so I don't know how it's happening. Bozza did send us a tweet today as well as his selections. He wrote, mental test this weekend. Maybe my first attendance for 18 months.
Oh.
Hashtag plastic gold hero member. Welcome home for Brennan Cox. Last time home in a purple anchor.
Yes. Also, Nath mentioned Brennan Cox. Said,
Yep.
are we getting Brennan Cox, Will Day and Harry Himmelberg this off-season after that eye-catching performance? Yes/yes.
I reckon we're going to get
One of
2
those.
out
Have
of
you,
3.
have you heard the Will Day rumours? I'm pretty sure
That he bought a property.
Oh, he's got a property in Glenelg.
So does Lukosius.
And the other bit I saw this week was that he'd leased it out for 9 months.
Yeah, so I think that was wasn't Vardy Magic starting some of that.
I think it's fairly well known that he has bought a property here.
Yeah.
I don't
But
think
he's
it's that
from
hard
SA,
to find
right?
that out. He is from SA. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, to be fair, it's the cheapest place to buy. So, you know.
He'd be perfect though. He'd be
Yeah.
such a good include. If we got him and Brennan Cox in next year, we would be genuine.
And a good friend, David King, again, is starting to just
saying lock up.
talk to Hawthorn about making sure he's worried about the Crows raiding other teams and blah, blah, blah. Because
It started already like it did with Rankin last year.
Let's have it. Boise, stunning win. Shout out to Piss River FC for giving me his members ticket. That's Jake. The Bay 322 Port supporters were all great sports. Credit to them. Loved Filthy, Rank and Rash. Hate that everyone is talking about the GWS descent and not the horseshit shoal holding the ball call.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where is the what's the word I'm looking for again?
The justice.
Yeah. MJ.
Sorry, also a
yes.
good friend of mine talking about going to the game. He's not a massive football follower, but he was lucky enough, friends of his won some 5AA comp and they were in the glass room in the southern stand that's in between the two change rooms, so he could physically from where he was watching see into both change rooms.
Ooh.
And watch the game behind glass. So
Cool.
Although apparently the Crows covered up their change room, whereas Port was out on display.
Oh, so someone had their dong out. Okay. MJ.
He didn't mention anything about dongs.
We couldn't see it because it was covered up. 37 interchanges for the match and they finished strong. New Burjo strategy.
Yeah, this is
Now,
an interesting one.
I heard there was a glitch
Yeah.
in the count.
Because 37 just
it's
seems
not enough.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's legit. We'll have to explore that further.
I've looked at everything I could find today and it all did say 37, the 2 or 3 things that I could find, but they were just
I
coming
did
from the same
read
source.
something happened there, so we'll have to look into that further. But
Yeah.
Jack Grover, he says, loved every second. Like that the young boys are getting some solid midfield minutes. Our offence will keep us in most games, but lack of a dependable key back may well lose us a few. Think this needs to be addressed in free agent at end of year. Oh, sorry, FA. What's that again?
Free agency. Is that what you mean?
Oh,
Sorry, I
is
was
that
hardly
what I mean?
listening.
Is that what he means? Yes, probably.
Someone-
Cut that out. End of the year, if we're going to contend properly in 24.
Someone commented, I can't remember who it was and when, but they said that like our backline seems to play as individuals but not as a unit, and it seems a bit that way. Like there's been some good performers in that back six. You know, you talk about Nick Murray. Duday's had a pretty good season so far, but like, are they working well as a group? I don't know. Jury's out, I think, because like they're leaking goals most weeks.
Yep.
What you got there?
Well, thanks to those new people on Twitter too. There was a few new names in there this week.
Yeah, a few
which
new
was nice to
followers
see.
as well. So welcome.
Thanks,
Welcome, guys.
Speaking of old followers, well, I don't know how old she is. That's a bit rude. But Kate
Hey,
is on
Kate.
Instagram. How good would it be if the prison bars become a bad luck omen for Port? I'll be
Amazing.
buying one. Love that. Jack, losing Pedler and still no McAdam with suspension will hurt Adelaide. Freo can't score though. Yeah, interesting point. Like Freo have been poor until they played West Coast, who are terrible and also lost half their team during the game as well. So it's no wonder they won like they did.
Yep.
But not much.
Digger, Rory Sloane had a big impact. We are all too quick to write the older players off. A legend. Thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. Good on you, Digger.
Is Digger showing his age there? Just sticking up for the old people.
Yeah. He knows what it's like.
Yeah, good on you, Digger.
He knows what
That's
it's like
great.
to be a legend of a club.
Yeah. Love it. Bozza was always on. He's on here too. Always,
Bozza.
always loved my boy Lachlan Cromania Murphy. And how about my other lad, the Doctor King? King symbol. How good. Yeah, look, Bozza and I are a bit on the same page there with our Murphy and Rob general dislike. So we've had to take a couple of steps back at least this week anyway. But I'm still not on board. I'm still not on board, but I will absolutely say they had good games this week. And last one from Daniel Altman. Lucky we didn't get JHF. Those picks were offered and have yielded Rankin, Rochelle and Dawson.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that floating around a little bit this week. And if we had that.
Look, I understand why we did it, but really glad it didn't work out for us.
Yeah, look, I'd love to think that we did it because the club thought we had to, knowing that North Melbourne were going to turn it down rather than actually wanting to do it. Because in hindsight, that would have ruined us. He's going to be a good player, but not better than all three.
I want us to sign Rochelle forever. I love him.
Yeah. God, I was
give him a
thinking that during the
lifetime
game.
deal.
Imagine if he left.
Well, he's Victorian, so there's
Victorian
always that
clubs are going to come.
Yeah.
They're going to come for him, aren't they?
Big time.
Yeah.
They will come, but I don't know. From the very start, he's kind of been really happy to move to Adelaide, and
true.
And he's country Victorian.
He is
isn't
country
So it's
Victoria.
not like he'd be going home to Melbourne. as
Yeah,
such.
that's right.
yeah, I think he looks really comfortable here. He's obviously got a really good core friendship group in Saligo and Nankervis, so I think he'll stay. I don't see why he wouldn't. We've given him the shot, and he's killing it.
Yep.
It's a perfect team for him to play in.
Yep. All we need is, not that he listens to us, but we just needs all our Nuffy podcasts to stop critiquing his celebrations, and he might stick around.
Well, you're critiquing him. I'm not. I'm down.
Get your
I'm all about it.
Celebrate how good Josh Rochelle is by buying your commemorative Josh Rochelle t-shirts on our website.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen our new shirts, check them out. We have got a bunch of them there now. We've got a little new in 2023 section.
Yes, we've got the Mad Max McElhaney. We've got the Kings of Hearts, Rash and Rankin.
Yep.
We got Josh Rochelle and Jake Saligo becoming best friends.
Ben is our inventory control officer, is what I'm saying, and he has been rushed off his feet with how many orders we've got coming in for these shirts. So it's good to see.
Get them while
Thanks,
they're
guys.
hot, folks.
Yeah,
How many
extremely limited.
All right. Well, should we talk about some other things like,
I've got
the
one.
game this week?
I've
You
got
anything
one.
else?
I've got one for you. A bit of general chat. Did you see the Veronicas and Peking Duck are going to be the entertainment at Gather Round?
I'm disappointed that we've got Peking Duck and not the Veronicas, to be honest.
I can guarantee you I'm going to pay no attention to that whatsoever, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, stiff necks, really.
Yeah, stiff neck.
They should have got a gig.
Our
shouldn't they?
boys, stiff necks.
Well, they're playing beer and barbecue.
They are too, yeah.
I did want to joke. I did want to send them a message and just say how close were you to telling us, considering we're sitting there talking about craft beer while they were here. And they were like, oh, yeah, we like craft beer.
I might actually go that night. Living End and
Yeah.
Magic Dirt.
One of the best bands ever.
It's a pretty cool lineup, actually, there at Beer and Barbecue. I need to get my tickets, actually. I did see they're like full passes are in their fourth release already. So
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so they've gone quickly. So,
Sounds like I won't be going.
Sounds like too expensive already.
hopefully there's a game before it again, like last year, that Collingwood game. I'll do another interview while I'm there. That went well.
All right, well, let's move on to this week. And Bisk has sent us a tweet with his selections. Outs, Peds and Berry, Inns, Show and Crouch. Interesting. If Fogg is still out, they'll keep Tex in. Otherwise, he'll get a rest. Would like to see Cook in for Smithers, but his last quarter might save him. Thoughts on Duday? Is he staying? I think we really need to keep him. Didn't at the start of 23.
Agree.
Look, even if I think Duday is going to stay, but even if he didn't, we've got Woozle. Everyone's forgetting about Josh Worrell.
Yeah. And I one thing I thought about while I was driving around today was, God, I hope that when Woozle is fit, that we remove someone like Brodie Smith and not Max Michaelani.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think Max has earned his spot.
I think
big
it is
time.
very Crows likely, unless there's other things that he replaces Michaelani, but I'd love to be wrong.
And is Worrell also out of contract at the end of the year? So both
He
Worrell
is.
and Duday?
Yes.
So that'd be a couple of signatures that'd be handy.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say Duday is definitely going to be more expensive than Worrell. So
Yes.
guess we'll see what happens.
This week, Ben, you got some stats.
A little bit. So we got Freo, who weren't hugely convincing against the Eagles until half their team went to hospital. It was, they were falling like flies. So sounds like they're trying to play a bit quicker. The first round they played against St Kilda, which they lost, they had something like 450 disposals or something, which is like 100 more than most teams have in a game. So
Yeah, but Saints, have you listened to Vic Media? They're up and about.
They're premiership hopefuls. So
I love these weird, easy draws they've given some of the shit teams and the teams with new coaches over there. It's just to give them a bit of a pump up early.
people get jump on round 3. Wow, look at them go. So, so they're apparently trying to play a bit quicker. They did that against West Coast, and West Coast was still in the game until late in the game before Freo blew it away.
And before you go on, Ben, the players that West Coast had out were like their 4 best players.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking Jamie Cripps, Luke Shuey, Jeremy McGovern, and what's his name?
Liam Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the 4 players that were out. Like, could West Coast be any more depleted?
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah, and they're not starting from a high bar either, West Coast. So to lose those guys, it's they're in strife. And
what about Jinby though? Everyone's favourite fantasy player.
Well, other than Sheasel.
Oh yeah, true. Him too.
I've just traded in Sheasel.
Just now? Did you not have him?
Lauren,
Do you think I know anything? I think you know by now. I know nothing.
Look,
but I had Pedler in my forward line. I had to trade.
distinctly remember a conversation before round 1 saying I'd get Sheasel into.
I remember saying to
I
Lauren.
don't listen, Ben.
I remember saying to Lauren, look at this website to find out which rookies you have. No.
Get the common rookies.
He was always at the top.
In one ear and out the other.
I like to do things independently. Okay, I take on board your advice and then I forget all of it. Okay,
Take on our advice and then say, fuck you. You're going to be amazing.
I just forget, Dan. But now, look, I've got Sheasel and I've got Pedler on the bench now, so it's all good.
So, but getting back to Freo, stats wise, they are the highest number of handballs at like 169 in the comp. We're second last in 121, so we're using the kick a lot more than they are. I think the thing that we're quite vulnerable against Fremantle is in those centre clearances. So they've got pretty strong players in, like Brayshaw's coming on. Sarong's had a really strong start to the season. Hot tip, if you don't have him in fantasy, he's going pretty well.
I don't have any money left, Ben. I've had to trade all of my rucks.
All the Crows players out.
I haven't traded all of them out. In fact, none of them. Thanks.
And as Sam was saying before, 2 genuine ruckmen in Darcy and Jackson. So both of which Darcy could maul Rob and Jackson will jump all over him. So I think if we can go close to halving what happens in the middle of the ground, their defence is not too bad, but their attack is not showing up as being very good this year. So we've definitely got them up forward, but it's the middle of the ground. We could be really shown up, and if they smash us in the midfield, they don't have to have an amazing forward line. They'll still find ways to kick goals. So we need to put pressure on and make sure they're not getting easy entries into the 50.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, I think. It's going to be wet too. Conditions over the long weekend are actually terrible. So, look, yeah, their midfield class is going to... You can't imagine that we're going to be winning those centre clearances again, which has obviously been our weak point this year.
They just can't have clean, easy wins of the centre clearances.
Yeah, that's right. And they obviously play Darcy in the middle mostly, and then they play Jackson up forward.
If they know what's good for them, they'll play bloody Darcy in the middle last week. God.
Oh, the week before where they played him up forward. Yeah, that was terrible.
12 to half time. Ridiculous.
But Jackson is a player that's capable of jumping, like you said, jumping all over some of our players. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Look, I'm tempted not to pick us just because I haven't all year and didn't last week and we played well. I don't know. I'm still not confident that we can just produce that again and again. And I feel like Freo got a bit of confidence out of last week, despite probably not really, like maybe they shouldn't have. We played them round 1 last year, didn't we? And almost beat them. So I don't.
Yeah,
we can absolutely win. What I'm trying to say is we can absolutely win this game. I don't trust us enough to pick us. So 2-goal loss.
I was saying to Lauren. I was saying Lauren earlier, like the next 2 weeks we got Freo at home and Carlton at home. I can accept. As much as I don't want to lose to Carlton, I can accept it. But personally, I can't accept us losing to Freo this week. Coming off that showdown win, I think we've got to build some momentum. And this is a must-win game, personally. I can't... If we drop this game, all of the goodwill we've built in beating Port just goes out the window for me. So...
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Well, that's your that's your opinion, but I think it does. I reckon Freo are a team that we absolutely should beat at this point in time. I think we can beat them. Am I going to tip us?
Do we want to beat them?
Yes.
Do we need to beat them?
Yes, we do. I think this is the one we need to win. So I'm putting us down for a 13-point victory. Am I going to tip us? I don't know. But on here, I'm saying 13-point win.
Like it. Lauren?
Yeah, we're winning.
You're going to, yep.
Yeah, I think we're just going to be full steam ahead after this week. I think our confidence is going to skyrocket. I know it's going to be a wet game. I think that will put us on an even playing field, to be honest. But I think we have the ability to grind it out.
100%.
Take the win.
I agree with you that we do. I just have no faith in us yet.
That's also
You're
fair.
the
To do
wrong
it 2
person to
weeks in a
be
way,
hosting
in a
a Crows podcast.
No, we've all got balance.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
but
it's fine.
Ben's gonna be the line breaker here. Ben,
Well, I mean, realistically, like the game we've just played, it was like 3 points at three-quarter time. We did come home and smash them in the last quarter, but we were only 20 minutes away from losing that game. So it is a really fine line from week to week. I think, as I said, really it's all down to how close we get in the midfield. Every time I've tipped us to win, we've lost. Every time I've tipped us to lose, we've won.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, so
This is my theory.
It's
Just tip us to
probably
lose. It's better.
pointless superstition to worry about what my tip is and the actual result. But I don't know. It does feel like a 50-50 game. It's hard to know what it's going to look like. I feel like
another one of these 50-50 games.
I just spied with
Put
you.
your ass on the line,
I will
Ben.
give a freaking tip, but, but I'm just saying it could go either way, Dan. And also, I don't think it's the be-all and end-all. We still want a showdown if we lose this week.
Yes, that
So
was my point.
I don't think.
I don't see it that way.
I don't think this year is about we have to win every week. None of us said we were making finals. We were pretty optimistic with our pre-bye win totals. I think maybe slightly over-optimistic.
I wasn't.
5, yeah. Well, we'll see if that
I
was
know you're talking about
over-optimistic.
me. You just directed it at me.
No,
I
well, you
said
had
7
8. We had 7, you had 8. But so I don't know. I'm going to tip a close win to the Crows, but it wouldn't surprise me if we lose to Freo. And
Now you've put the kiss of death on us.
And it's not up to what I
Whatever he
tip
said,
as to
Dan
how
was
they
gonna
play. I wouldn't surprise me if we lost, and I don't think it's the end of the season if we lose. I think we still want a showdown. Even in round 1 and 2, we showed better upside than we did all last year, even though we had some terrible parts of those games. So I think overall we're showing what we need to show. It's just we're still second youngest team in the comp. We're going to have some shit times. So, yeah, I don't know. 4-point win, but may lose.
Yeah. And also, if we do lose, it's not the end of the world.
And
also,
next week I'll give you a 3-word tip.
This is about as on the fence as we can be.
No, I like it. I think essentially we've got 2 people who are overly positive. We've got 2 people who are erring on the
I
negative.
don't know if I would say overly positive. I said it was going to be an even game and that
wouldn't
we
say I'm
might
overly
grind it
positive.
out.
Well, yeah.
I said if we
I
don't
wasn't
win,
saying we're going to win by 10 goals.
No, look, overly positive, Lauren. Look, I'm
a happy clapper.
What I was actually going to say there was I don't think we're all that far apart, to be honest, on our predictions here. None of us are going to be surprised if we lose, and none of us are going to be surprised if we win.
We know it's a long season and we've got more work to do.
And realistically, I think Freo are better than what their first 3 rounds have been. I think come the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if St Kilda are missing finals and Fremantle are in finals.
Yeah,
Look, I'm still riding on the beating them in the pre-season wave, so let's just keep rolling with that.
Now, for those who haven't noticed, we don't have a nuffy on tonight. We tried some famous nuffs. We didn't.
Rove McManus, answer your Instagram DMs, mate. What the heck?
I also had a little interaction with the lead singer of Eskimo Joe today, which I was quite happy with. The people that you speak to through podcast connections. But he put me in touch with their guitarist who didn't reply to my email. So
We tried, but having said that, we might not have enough this week, but next week
it's all
we've
happening.
got
enough.
mega enough, like mega enough.
Look,
And
I feel like it's a good 98% chance that it's going to get through.
Yeah.
This
reckon?
Nuffy,
Do we think we've landed him?
just to put in
I feel like there's a pretty good chance.
Just to put in perspective, I messaged our previous Nuff, Jason Morrison, about coming on next week and having a bit of fun with us. And I told him who our Nuffy is next week, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good get."
Good get? Yeah, it's a pretty good get. We're gonna have a massive episode for Gather Round.
Yeah.
We've got our very, very excellent Carlton Nuff, who we will reveal next week, but also I think we're going to be able to talk to a player. So that'll be fun. But yes, Gather Round's going to be huge. So tune in next week. In the meantime, continue hosting the show,
you
Sam.
hosting here, Lauren? What the fuck is this? Jesus Christ, can't help herself.
Take the reins.
You know,
What do we think of
it's
the
like the sound
beer?
of my own voice.
I'm on to like my third beer now, but the
Yeah,
first one,
we've cracked a few different ones since, haven't we?
the Uraidla one was really tasty.
The Uraidla was the best, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Like the other two have been like knocked me on my ass kind of style ones that I wouldn't drink a whole glass of. But yeah, that one was good. I could have a session on those for sure.
Yeah, very messy session, but yes, it was tasty. You could smell them as soon as we opened the cans around the room. So there was a lot of aroma in there. Ben, did you like the beer?
Yeah, yes, very fragrant and juicy.
It was.
But yeah, no, it was quite nice.
Uraidla Spellbinder.
Yes,
Gets
limited
a,
release.
Oh, limited.
Oh,
I hate that. It's so
they
annoying.
always limited stuff.
When you do a good beer, just make it regular. Jesus.
That's not how the craft beer works. The craft beer world works, Dan. You know that.
I still daydream about that Pirate Life Cherry Noir one we had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
you
good.
can't even get that anymore.
No.
But Little Bang still have their garbage ones that I accidentally buy and get stuck with. Thanks, guys.
So good.
Definitely not a Huey Crow sponsor.
No, love it. All right, we done? We're
we
wrapping
are
up
done.
here. Everyone, look, if you like some of our merch, please buy some. We're drowning here. In debt.
We are in debt.
Yeah, Lauren needs more bakery.
Ben's like sitting on merch boxes as we
He is.
speak.
Yeah, our inventory control manager.
Could well be 50 and out after this week.
Yeah.
Shit.
Nah, we're good. But if you do like something, please buy it. It does help us out. And what else? Do we want to say anything else? Or are we done?
No, that's
Is this
it.
Just
Next
leave it
week's a
here?
huge episode. Tune in
Yeah,
next
please.
week.
Listen to us next week. All right, see you, Lauren.
Bye.
See you,
Get
Ben.
around it. Bye.
See you, Ben.
See you later, Sam.
It's my desire. It's my desire. It's my desire. Don't you wanna know how we keep starting fires? It's my desire. It's my desire. It's my desire.